Hey guys, Coach here with part 2 of our You're the Designer series. Remember what we talked about earlier? We talked about some of the things that I would like to see as this new homeowner. I want to have privacy, I want to have navigation, and be able to protect myself from winds and possible tornadoes and other stuff. So what are some of the considerations that you gave this, if you gave it at all? But I would think from a designer's aspect, you would want to have it down on paper, do a little bit of scale sketching and drawing and doodling, and get yourself some creative juices flowing, and then have at it. What I thought about when I saw this property is big. 2 acres is a lot of space, and in order to accomplish some of the wants that I wanted to see, we are talking about years and years of growth in order to accomplish that. You know, right now, that agricultural field that's there, a planting in there as far as a screening, say like you go out and get some spruce or some green giant arbs or something along those lines, and you start spacing them, and you give yourself a little bit of privacy and also a wind break, also a dust break. It's going to take a couple of layers. If you're looking for privacy in the back part, way in the back there, probably not so much needed when you're looking at directly out from the camera here. It's not the house area, it's the back 40 of that property. There seems to be up and coming type of plant material. Remember, the deciduous trees are not leafed out yet, so there's probably a little bit more privacy during the growing season, say like late April through October. And then when everything drops, you get kind of a see-through. So do you want to put some more evergreens in there to kind of bolster that a bit? I would, yes, fronting all that plant material that's there right now. And then as you come towards the house area there in the back, there's a lot of plant material, trees and whatnot, that's going to do a good screening job, but not very much as far as the winter. And then as you get towards the rail fence area and the small horse ranch next to it, you have loads of space and loads of area that you're going to have to screen off. And that is the goal here. Now, what about navigation? If you look at this property was literally almost standing water 2 days before we saw it. And it is still, where I'm standing right now, is on a squishy gravel driveway. And I use that word very liberally, squishy. I could barely park my truck there. And when you look at this, say for instance, you want to put in a weekend warrior orchard back there for me. How are you going to get back through there? How are you going to navigate that area? You just going to have me walk back there to nip and tuck and prune and harvest or spray or do whatever I'm going to do? Or are you going to come at it from more of, all right, Coach, I know that you have a little ATV on the property, and a lot of that is going to be used to do the chores and work and get around on such a big piece of property. So I'm going to design in here some pathways, some probably 8-foot or 10-foot pathways using road base and a gravel top type of thing, and crowning it a bit for you so that you can drive back in here to the various areas of the vignettes, shall we say. And remember a few episodes ago that I talked about islands in a sea of green? Classic example of where you might want to use that in here. The theory of carving out large areas of grass, high maintenance grass area, just sod cutting it out and then installing nice shade trees, or just even just the shade trees alone would break up the vastness of this area. But you can make your islands big enough of maybe 60 feet long and 40 feet wide here without any problem at all, and it would still be somewhat small in scale. You could do 100 by 75 here and put in 3 big northern maples or something of the like, and then understory plantings and whatever else you wanted. And you could put several of those in here. And then back in the corner somewhere, you might want to have the orchard where you could have peaches and cherries and apples and pears and whatever you suggest, and then a way to get to it. You could have a circumnavigation path and then a couple of off-ramps that go to vegetable gardens or go to orchards, and ease of navigation would be a very big thing here. You could ride on the lawn, but then you're just compacting your lawn and it doesn't break it up a little bit. You still have that vastness. And what I want as a customer, I want to break up the vastness here. I want to have some visual interest, and I want privacy to be attained, and enough to where, hey, if you want to go talk to Joe back there, your back neighbor, you have a way of doing it. And I want to get some steps in every day. What better way to have as a nice pathway if you just wanted to go out and walk the property with a cup of coffee every morning, or you wanted to power walk it because you're trying to stay in shape. And believe me, this property would keep you in shape. You would have to be out there quite a bit, and I intend to be. So I don't think that the burn pile, if you used it for domestic reasons and not for entertainment reasons like they do here, I would probably want to put it somewhere where it's out of sight, out of mind type of thing. That's really kind of a utilitarian usage. They use it here for guests, and they have stacked up their winter trimmings and other things, and they'll spark that thing off after they dry out a little bit later in the summer. But when you have a vast piece of property like this and you're thinking about screening, you're going to need to scale it on your design so that you have a little bit of overlap on your hedgerow, shall we say. So let's just arbitrarily talk about using green giant arbs. Now those things get pretty good size. They're fast growing. You could use Leyland Cypress as well. Leyland Cypress would do well in zone 6. And you'd space them out in kind of a staggered formation. So you have almost like 2 rows in a staggered formation. And because these guys grow fast enough, you'd be able to establish at least some privacy higher than the fence line within a couple of 3 years at the most, depending on what size you bought. Now, what about the budget? I told you in part 1 that I had a $60,000 budget to put towards this. And I'm going to do the stuff myself, so it's pretty much materials only. There's no permits that you're going to have to pull here unless you've designed some sort of electrical or something else for me to go out there. And I really don't think that's really necessary. I really don't. This is going to be a weekend warrior Farmer John type of acreage. I have a nice house. I still have plenty of lawn to mow out front. And this one here, I'd like to have probably 50% of the lawn gone. So you're talking about some big islands, some plantings, lots and lots of plantings. You don't need irrigation here because Mother Nature's going to take care of you pretty much all year round. And in the wintertime, you just kick your clutch in, head to Florida or whatever you want to do. But here, I think $60,000 would probably get you by as far as pathways. It'd be tight, but by the time you planted everything, pathwayed everything, island stuff up, and got your whatever your top dressings are going to be for your islands and for your hedgerows and that kind of stuff, I think you'd be, even DIY, you would be well up into the 5 figures of what this budget is called for here. So in this particular case, you may end up taking out some of the trees that are there, depending on how formal you want to have the screens, or maybe not. I think that the trees that you see here are right up against the fence. They really are. And I don't know that that's a I don't know if that's really a good thing or not. But there are some trees here that are in the center of the lawn that you could capture with a big free-formed island and add to them. And I look at this and see all kinds of possibilities. But that's why we are talking, you guys doing it for me. So, from the designer's aspect, if you took on this project, do you think you could do it for $60,000 for me? Do you think that you would remove some of the existing trees? How much of the lawn would you suggest removing for me? And then the remaining lawn, is it still easy care for me when I have to get out there and mow it once a week or once every 2 weeks? What have you done for me as far as that agricultural field? How deep of wind screens and windbreaks, privacy screens have you made it for me? These are the things that come to mind when a designer goes to a potential customer's house, and what the actual solution is. And then how are you going to present it to me? Because when you present a design, whether it's to a customer or whether it's to your spouse, you're going to have to say why you suggest what you're suggesting. And that is very, very important. I would like to see a deep, well-layered back of property screen, because it's going to break the wind a little bit. It's going to provide your privacy. They're easy to care for. You won't have any maintenance involved once they're established. You can add other shorter things in front if you would like, and you justify what your selections are and why you've put them in that. So it's the explanation of the right plant in the right place for the right reason. And that's very, very critical, whether you're landscaping for yourself or you're designing for someone else. Hey, anyway, guys, I hope there's a little bit of fun here. Hope a little bit of creative juices came out in you regarding this. And if you got some questions, drop them in the comments. Or if you have some comments, drop them in the comments. And I would love to hear what your thoughts are about this one. Anyway, as always, to your guys' landscape success, don't forget to check out our website, youryardcoach.com. Thank you so much this past week for people who have visited, and for those of you who picked up a book or a checklist. I really do appreciate your attention. I very, very much do. And if you got questions regarding your own landscape design, your own landscape project, youryardcoach@gmail.com. Guys, until next week, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.